Welcome to Season 2 of Red Sox Digest, the only show where pain, sarcasm, and false hope collide nightly, like a Masataka Yoshida ground out to second. We break down every loss, every meltdown, and the occasional win, with sarcasm, facts, and no front office spin. Subscribe today at RedSoxDigest.com, or keep wondering how a wildcard team spent an entire offseason avoiding power hitters. And now, here's the crew at Red Sox Digest.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Red Sox Digest. I am your host tonight, Jim Dalfino. And folks, if you're wondering why I sound exhausted, it's because I just watched 3 straight Red Sox games against the Yankees, which is basically like binge watching a horror movie where the villain is wearing pinstripes and your team is just opening the door and inviting him in. And I'm the only guy who voluntarily sat through this entire series like it was some kind of sick loyalty test. At this point, I've shown more commitment to this team than John Henry has. John Henry is probably watching this series from his yacht like, weird, I thought we were competitive. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on my couch stress watching like I just watched the stock market crash. Joining me tonight is Nick Face. Nick, this guy hates this team so much right now, I'm pretty sure he tried to enter the transfer portal as a fan. I saw him on X earlier. I saw him on X earlier. He wasn't even tweeting. He was just filing emotional police reports. This guy is pacing around his house like a lunatic, arguing with ownership who cannot hear him, just screaming, spend money at the TV like John Henry's going to pop out of the screen like the Kool-Aid man. Joining us tonight is also John Martinello. John, the human rain delay, calm, collected, breaking things down like he's teaching a class, but even he's got to be losing it. You can only say fundamentals matter so many times before you realize this team doesn't even know what fundamentals are. At this point, John's probably diagramming a ground out like it's advanced calculus. And Thayer Doyle is with us tonight. Thayer, the most level-headed guy on the panel, which means tonight he's going to sound like a lunatic because even the calm guy breaks eventually. Thayer's over here talking about situational hitting like this team didn't just treat runners in scoring position like it was a haunted house. Let's get into it. Your Boston Red Sox just got swept at Fenway by the New York Yankees. Start spreading the news. Let me repeat that for the people all the way in the back. Swept at home by the Yankees. Game 1, you actually had a lead, and then the bullpen turned it into a gasoline fight. Up 2-1, feeling lucky. Bam, 4-run inning. Thanks for coming. Game 2, this one was even more fun. Down 3-0 before you even sat down with your beer. Ahmed Rosario hitting a 3-run bomb like he's Babe Ruth reincarnated, and the entire game was over in about 6 minutes. Game 3, this one was where you really should be pissed off because you actually had this game. You're up 2-1 after Marcelo Mayor's RBI double and Carlos Narvaez's bomb. Fenway got a little life, and you're thinking maybe, just maybe. And then the 7th inning happens, like clockwork. Single. Here come the Yankees because, of course, they do. Cody Bellinger knocks in 2 like he's doing a charity event. Aaron Judge adds another, and boom, 4-2 Yankees. And let me ask the fans, why didn't Alex Cora bring in Whitlock at that point if he knew Bellinger was coming in? Needless to say, game over. And the response from the Red Sox? Absolutely nothing. No fight. No pushback. No, we're not losing this game. Just a quiet little jog back to the dugout like, well, we tried. You get a leadoff hit in the 7th, double play. 8th inning, nothing. 9th inning, 3 quick outs. Thanks for coming. That's the part that should drive you insane. They didn't get blown out. They got punched and just stood there. 3 games. You scored a total of what? 3 runs across 2 of them that mattered? You got outscored, outplayed, outclassed, and honestly, outcared. Can we talk about the offense? This lineup, it's allergic to big moments. Runners in scoring position, they treat it like it's radioactive. Oh no, we might score. We better strike out looking. Meanwhile, Giancarlo Stanton is out there turning back the clock like it's 2017. doubles, home runs. I don't even know if that home run landed yet. RBIs. This guy's looking like he's playing batting practice. And the Yankees, they didn't even need to be great. They just had to be competent. That's it. That's the bar. And the Red Sox couldn't even reach that. Ownership? Oh, yeah, we're going to go there because this is what happens when you build a team that's on a clearance rack. We like our guys. Yeah, which ones? The ones grounding out? The ones striking out? Or the ones watching the Yankees celebrate on your field? Fenway Park used to be a nightmare for opponents. Now it's like a vacation spot for the Yankees. Come on down, great vibes, free wins. This wasn't just a sweep. This was a statement. And the statement was this: the Yankees are competing, and your Red Sox, they're just pretending. I've said enough. It's time for us all fans to face the facts.
It's time for Face the Facts, where excuses get laughed out of the room, your feelings are irrelevant, and your opinion probably doesn't matter. No spin, no cope, just the facts. And now, your esteemed host, Nick Face.
Alex Cora, we just got to keep playing. It's still early. It's April. We got to play. Alex Cora says that Greg Weissert was a good matchup against Cody Bellinger. He said it. I didn't. How can we have any ounce of respect for this man anymore? He's worn his welcome out. I don't want to hear another word out of his mouth. I want him fired tonight. Tonight. I'm done. I said the Yankees were going to sweep the Red Sox in 3. I said it Monday night. If the Red Sox do not do something tonight or into tomorrow with this team, you can count on last place happening for this team, and this roster and this team will be worse than the 2012 Red Sox. I have more respect right now for what John Farrell went through as a manager. I even have a little bit more respect right now in what Bobby Valentine at least started things out with right now. This is unacceptable, atrocious, and it starts at the top. Yes, of course, it's ownership, but Alex Cora is the clown driving the little cart right now, the enabler. You aren't going anywhere with Mr. 500 anymore. You could even say Mr. less than 500, meaning about a 500 record. Take away 2018. Alex Cora is not a good manager. Alex Cora is a player's manager, but there's no discipline. There's no nothing. There's no accountability. There's no getting better. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Those are the quotes after tonight's game. How can any member of the media not laugh after those quotes that are said right there? Carlos Navarez even came out after the game, and he said, "You know what? I'm done with these. It's April. It's early quotes. We can't keep saying this anymore." But yet your manager, the leader of the pack, keeps doing this. I don't get it. What is he trying to protect? A bunch of bums? I don't understand it. Does he enjoy lying to people? I mean, I know this is what the MO is of the Red Sox, but when push comes to shove, us fans want transparency. We want to know that things are going to get better. We want to invest in a team that has a plan. We want to make sure that what we're watching or what we're rooting for or giving money to is worth the investment. This isn't worth it anymore. It's just not. I don't have any respect for anybody right now that even goes to Fenway Park. I don't know if you saw the story that came out this past couple days, but they're even selling Yankee merchandise in the merchandise in the shops. I mean, what are we doing? It's just an organization that doesn't care anymore. Why should fans care? We shouldn't. But here we are. We're chirping away, inventing, and doing what we can. I think people like us. I think that's why they watch us. I hope. Maybe they enjoy getting us laughing and doing that. I would hope so. Because it's getting really tiresome following a team that doesn't give two shits. I've said my piece. I'm an angry person this week, according to one of my kids in my program. No, I've been fine. If you hear it in my voice is pretty done. It's been a long week. I got one more day ahead of me, and I can't wait for the weekend.
Now, Nick, look, you're absolutely right. It gets boring just ridiculing and ripping this team every night for things that they just cannot do right. And I'm not even talking about winning games. If you lost games that was competitive, at least you'd say, all right, fine. I'd rather watch a team lose 9-8 and have some offense than just lose 1-0, 5-0, 4-2, whatever it might be. That the way this offense runs, it's boring. There is nothing fun about this team, and it is the worst roster construction in my lifetime. And I thought I've already watched this movie years ago when we had last place finishes. I said the same shit, and our talks and our shows are about the same shit. I want to talk about stuff like, did you see, the 2-1 pitch to Duran that he hit up for the home run was this or that, or there's none of that. There's no meat and potatoes to this team. It's all just nonsense.
We should be talking about Peyton Tolley tonight, but we're not. I know we will, but that should be center stage, and yet it's not.
Yeah,
because this team sucks. That's infuriating right there. Peyton Tolley threw an outstanding game tonight, and yet here we are, swept by the Yankees, talking about piss poor managing, questioning decisions, because that's the Red Sox way. Screw that.
Nick's Face the Facts is brought to you by the Fenway Lost and Found. Fenway Lost and Found, proudly recovering everything the Red Sox left behind this series, including runners in scoring position, basic fundamentals, and any sense of pride. Fenway Lost and Found, if you left it on base, you'll never see it again. And now I want to flip over to the Martinello Minute.
And now the part they don't want said out loud. No spreadsheets or corporate spin, just the truth, raw and impatient. This is the Martinello Minute.
I don't even know what to talk about tonight. Last pod I said the Sox were going to sweep. But even that was just out of haste. I think we all knew what we had coming after us this week. Game 1 sucked. Game 2 was just sad. And then tonight, I'm just left depressed. Peyton Tolley, shout out to you, dude. He comes out here, he strikes out the first 5 batters he faces. He has all the emotion that you could ask for. A team that lacks energy. This guy gave you everything he possibly could have tonight. Crowd was buzzing, and then this pathetic offense just does what they do. 4 hits. That's what you gave the pitcher that just came up here from Worcester. Gave you everything he had. Yeah, I'm just at a complete loss of words. The Red Sox struck out the Yankees 17 times today and still lost the game pretty convincingly. I'd go as far to say that Cam Schlitter didn't even impress me. I don't know if you guys can agree with that or not, but I've said it 1,000 times. The Red Sox have zero approach at the plate. Base is empty, runners on, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same at-bats every single time. It doesn't matter who's up at the plate right now. They swing at pitches that are junk. They look at the pitches that are hittable. They bunt the ball to the dugout with 2 strikes. We've seen it all. Where do we go from here? Like, do you have to fire someone? Who do you fire? Who are you going to go sit out? Do you change the lineup again? Like, I don't have answers at this point. There's no prospects coming. There's no impact players coming back from the IL. There's nothing on the way that can make me say that this team's going to turn anything around anytime soon. They're flat, they're pressing again, and they're just unserious. And that, that's from the top down. The ownership in the front office sit back, they're going to relax, and they're going to say the same shit that we've heard night in and night out from them. This team just hasn't hit their stride yet. It's a good team. They're just not playing well. That's bullshit, and we all know it. Nick pointed out already the same post-game quotes from AC. He said it last night. Oh, we've got to be better. At what point do you actually get better? Because I've been hearing it for a while now, Mr. Cora. It's not early anymore. It's not about having to play better. It's just time to make a legitimate change to this franchise that, kind of stands everybody up and wakes at least a couple people up, because if this keeps on going on, listen, they're not going to get to 20 games under 500, but they're going to be just decent enough to where at the end of the season, nothing, they don't do anything that actually makes us as fans say, all right, shit, something's turning around and we're headed in the right direction. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of valid points. I mean, it's just you want to think that something's going to happen, but make a statement. But I think ownership loves Alex Cora too much to do anything with him. And you know what? Like I said earlier, before we got online, if you fire Pete Fatsi tomorrow morning, or Andrew Bailey, or Jason Varitek, I mean, it's not going to change the personnel. It's not going to change the roster. There's just not enough talent there. I was talking to some other people before, and I said, this is the worst team in my lifetime. And another friend of mine was saying, well, 2020 was pretty bad. And I said, yeah, 2020 was bad, but you still had superstars. You had JD Martinez. You had Rafi Devers. You had something to watch. What am I watching over this 3-game series and over this season? I'm watching Caleb Durbin strike out or ground out, and he's got a 147 batting average. I'm watching IKF not be able to put down a bunt, or pinch bunting for a pinch hitting for Jaron Duran. I'm watching Marcelo Mayer make out after out after out. I mean, half this lineup is batting under 200. Trevor Story is going to have probably a career year in strikeouts. It's boring. I'd rather watch paint dry. The Martinello Minute is brought to you by Yankee Celebration Tours. Yankee Celebration Tours now offering guided experiences around Fenway Park, where you too can celebrate on the Red Sox field like it's your own personal backyard. Book today and get a free souvenir, a Red Sox bullpen meltdown. Yankee Celebration Tours. Why win at home when you can play in Boston? And now it's time for the third strike.
And now it's time for the third strike with Thayer.
So I think it's interesting that I feel like I'm watching a team that is rebuilding. I feel like I'm watching the Bridgie Red Sox, if we're taking it back to the Celtics. The problem is that everybody that is sort of rebuilding for is here. Roman Anthony is here. Marcelo Meyer's here. Rafael is here. This team has all their kids up, but nothing else around them. And they're expecting all these kids to be megastars. And unfortunately, and I'm really starting to wonder that really of all of those people, how many of them are really going to be superstars? Because I do not trust the front office in their ability to differentiate the talent that they have. We've seen enough of this since they've traded Rafael Devers. He goes away. They get what they feel like is some good prospects. They trade away and they get Priester from Pittsburgh. And what do? Oh, he's not fitting. We trade him away. Let's trade away Harrison. Let's trade away Tibbs. Yet they're keeping Marcelo Meyer, and Anthony is going to be a player. I think he's capable. And they keep Duran around long enough thinking that, oh, he's going to be something. They're just not all that good, like everyone has been saying. And I hold them accountable because they are incapable of playing well. And as we watched these games the last couple of days, the Red Sox had 13 hits in 3 games against the Yankees. And to John's point, did Schlittler pitch great today? To his standards, no, he wasn't. He was not getting ahead in counts. He was pitching from behind. He wasn't able to put batters away, but it didn't matter because the offense that we're putting out there is so anemic. Nothing is going to come out of it. The other day, Fried just dominated this team. Like I said, 13 hits in 3 days. Last year, the Colorado Rockies put out what many people considered the worst team in the history of baseball. They had 15 hits today. The Rockies out-hit us over a 3-day period. That's what we're dealing with here. And we talk about this approach. They have no approach. Well, today they had an approach. And their approach was, we are going to lose, but we are not going to lose ugly. We're not going to let Cam Schlittler come in here, talk bad about us, and then blow us away. They were first pitch, everything. How many? The man went 8 innings, basically by breaking bats and hitting ground balls. There was no hard contact. What we had, Mayer and Navarez probably had the 2 hardest hit balls of the day from the Red Sox standpoint, and that was it. Tolle pitched beautifully. I have nothing negative to say about him. However, again, getting back to what I'm watching is a rebuilding thing, I want to see him do it the second start. We saw this last year against Pittsburgh. He was phenomenal against Pittsburgh. And then the next couple starts, he wasn't the same guy. He clearly works off adrenaline in Fenway Park. I need to see him do it again. I need to see him pitch with that attitude and get moving and get ahead in the count and not sort of fall behind. That's what we're going to see. But I don't think they are going to be just atrocious in maybe a 60-win team. They're not. Their pitching is too good for it to be that bad, but there is no way this offense is going to be able to do anything. The Yankees sleepwalked through this series. They didn't have to do anything and still basically dominated us. What, 4 runs the first game and tonight? And what did they get? 4 runs last night too? Maybe. I don't remember how much it was, 4-1. And basically it felt like all those runs were just mechanical. It's like, oh, okay, you got your lead here. Here's one hit, here's a home run from us. Oh, you got another lead. Okay, here you go. And that's all it took. It really wasn't an outstanding performance by the Yankees, but they didn't have to. They sleptwalked through the series and swept us. And that's the most embarrassing aspect of this whole thing.
Certainly is an embarrassment just about every single night. It's probably the one thing you can bet on, that it's going to be an embarrassing performance from this team. The third strike with Thayer is brought to you by Red Sox Offensive Sleep Aids. Red Sox Offensive Sleep Aids, because nothing knocks you out faster than watching this lineup with runners in scoring position. Side effects include frustration, yelling at the TV, and questioning your life choices. Red Sox Offensive Sleep Aids, stranding runners so you don't have to stay awake. I got just a couple of talking points for today. The first one we'll obviously mention is probably the only thing that was positive. I know you guys have already started touching on it a little bit, was with Peyton Tolle. Actually came out dealing. Early on, he was shoving, striking out Judge, working clean innings, keeping the Yankees completely off balance. He even pitched out of trouble in the 4th with runners on, holding the lead when things could have unraveled. Through 5 innings, he gives you exactly what you want. Keeps it basically one mistake, the Chisholm homer, which I called at 6:30 p.m., by the way, and hands the bullpen with the lead. With this start, my question to you is, Tolle now going to have a spot in this rotation moving forward, or do you see him getting optioned? John, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, for the time being, he's got a spot in the rotation. Obviously, he's here because Sonny Gray is on the IL. But if this kid pitches, he doesn't have to pitch this type of game 2 more times. But, if we see 2 more quality starts from him before Sonny Gray comes off the IL, and say Bayo, his next 2 starts aren't great, Bayo's still got options. This team's at a point right now where you need the best people available and at your disposal. So, if Toley continues to pitch like a professional that he did today, and somebody else that has options isn't pitching up to the standard that they should be, I don't see any reason as to why Toley should be going back to Worcester. But, if Sonny Gray comes back and, everything's kind of going the way that it has, Bayo's pitching to the 4.5 ERA, I don't think that they're going to pull the trigger on that. So, it remains to be seen. I'm just happy that, he showed the type of pitcher that he can be today.
Fair, similar question to you on whether Toley's going to maintain a spot in this rotation. The other part I'll add to that to just kind of, stir the pot a little bit. What about a 6-man rotation when Gray comes back?
They could go to the 6-man rotation, but again, all you're doing is taking away from your bullpen. Your starters are going 5 to 6 innings. You have no bullpen as it is. You're just going to tear those guys down even more. When you go with a 6-man rotation, it's because you have outstanding starters and you can afford to do these things. You have to platoon everybody on your team. You can't not have enough offensive players. So I don't see that happening. I think really Toley being up here, I'm afraid it's going to require more superhuman efforts like tonight to keep him here. I think if he's just so like he was kind of at the end of last year, they're going to send him back down. They're looking at it's a financial thing. They're looking at keeping him around for as long as they possibly can without getting his clock going. So unless he is dominating to the point where there would be a revolt, I don't see him staying up here once Gray is healthy.
Well, again, a lot of it is about service time. I don't know how many games he qualified for last season, which would be added to today in terms of his clock running from last season. We'd have to look that up. But, outside of signing him to an extension, which who knows if the Red Sox would want to do that, then it takes the service time and just throws it out the window. But I have to agree with you. I think that one of the biggest concerns last year with Toley was the secondary stuff. And you saw that because when he had that start in Arizona back last year, he was horrific, and we were expecting a gem, and he just couldn't put it together. And he looked, he got bounced around a lot in that start. Nick, same question to you on Toley. Essentially, does he have a spot in this rotation moving forward? Is this just going to be a cameo appearance? Your thoughts?
What does it even matter? Here's where I'm going with this. You just wasted a friggin' start for him because we have no offense. So what the hell's the point? Mm-hmm. You don't have a major league team. You just don't. So I don't want to waste those bullets when something dominant that you just saw. This is a frickin' waste that was here tonight. It was a frickin' waste. I'm pissed. I'm sorry. You guys probably see it I'm pissed. This is unacceptable that Peyton Toley had this start tonight and he got no support. I am sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not mad at you, Jim. No, I'm not mad at you, John. No, I'm not mad at you, Thayer. I am mad at this organization, and like a swarm of bees, I want to come at them right now. It is unacceptable for our fan base to sit here right now and to allow this to continue.
Yeah, like I said before,
it happens all the time. It happens all the time.
It's absolutely boring. Every night you sit there and you watch this team because we're all lifers and we've been doing this forever, and it's every summer, and you're watching crap day in and day out. And I think the worst part too is that when you see bonehead mistakes made, like, Wilyer Abreu kicking the fucking a ball around the outfield and, maybe allowing a
Gold
runner
glover,
to
may I
advance.
add you?
Yeah,
Gold glover, gold
you know,
fraud.
there's one thing, if you want to look back, because I've talked to some other people on Twitter about this. For a guy that's won the Gold Glove, any ball that's on the ground when it reaches Abreu, he botches it around the freaking park. It's unbelievable. Look back at his games if you want to do it. So one thing I've noticed, he has at least 4 or 5 games a season where he's just throwing that ball around. If it's a grounder, goes by him, everything. It's unbelievable. Moving to my next talking point for tonight, Alex Cora, I thought, made a bonehead move. 2-1 lead in the 7th. You've got some traffic on the bases, and Cora goes to Greg Weissert, my best friend in the world. Aaron Boone obviously counters, and he brings in Cody Bellinger off the bench. And of course, what happens? Bellinger rips a single. Yankees take the lead, and the game completely flips. My question, and I know you guys already mentioned this, but can we still call Cora a top-tier manager, or is he finally getting exposed when it really matters?
Stop. You can't say that with a straight face, so shut up.
Nick, I had to come up with this a couple minutes after the game was over, so work with me a little bit, all right? But the bottom line here,
Jesus Christ.
Why didn't Cora bring in Whitlock? If you knew that Boone was going to counter with Bellinger, at least bring in a better weapon than freaking Weiss shit. Nick, I'll start with you.
It's early, Jim. It's early. It's only April.
It's only April.
What do you want me to say? These guys are good. They're good. I have full faith and trust. Weissert's just had a rough couple games. I did put up an interesting thing on my Twitter X. So if those of you are in the comments here, I actually really want to know. I have 4 boobs, not literally, but players that played for this lovely team over the years that were a part of our trash bullpen. I'd love a pair of boobs right now, but unfortunately, we're left with what we've got. Thank you. I'll try not to Bob Saget you all here tonight. But anyways, I want to know if it's Ryan Brazier, Matt Barnes, Greg Weissert, or Zach Kelly. If you're on a stranded island and you could only choose one that could somehow save you, who is it going to be?
Depends which one you want to be the boat.
It's a very interesting question. So I really hope you take to it.
Nick, you can ask Matt Barnes because he'll be on the pregame show on Friday. I think it's Friday night. So, I mean, you can go ahead and ask him. He's going to be in the net. He's going to be in the Nesson Studios because that's what we do well.
His backpack snapped at his head.
Yeah, our ex-players becoming Nesson broadcasters is pretty much the strong point. Moving over,
but that's my question I put over. So hopefully people can chime in because I despise them all, but I think probably Ryan Brazier would be my guy. Ugh. Because the Dodgers fixed him. That's the only reason I'm going there. They straightened out his crooked neck, and they finally figured out how to make him work.
I might even have trouble with that one.
I have trouble with the whole thing, Jim, but this is what we're at.
I'm talking about fixing his neck.
Oh, that's true.
Farrah, what about your thoughts on Cora and the Bellinger at bat?
In this situation, I think I would have liked to have seen Whitlock, but at the same time, I don't think it would have mattered. So he comes in, he gets the last out of the 7th inning. He's going to bring him back out to pitch the 8th inning, maybe. And then hopefully you have, Chapman to pitch the 9th inning. So you're going to try to get 7 outs out of those 2 guys. Yes, no, maybe so. You could probably, hopefully, string it across. But my guess is Weissert was going to have to come in eventually. He's either going to come into the 8th or the 9th inning, and then he's going to blow it up then. So it doesn't really matter. But from a game standpoint, the move was to go to Whitlock there. but my guess is he probably wasn't even up and ready to go because it kind of disintegrated on him so quickly. But I would have liked to have seen it, but at the same time, I don't think it matters whether you had Joe Torre, you had Tommy Lasorda, you have, anybody managing this team. No matter what strings you pull, they're garbage. And for Alex Cora's well-being, I do hope he gets fired because he is going to become a Philadelphia Philly manager 2 days after he gets fired by the Red Sox, and then there's a very good chance he's going to be hoisting a championship again.
Well, I'll tell you right now, with the Phillies, what, they lost 9 in a row, something like that? It's a perfect time for them. If Cora gets fired, I don't think Dombrowski will be on the phone with him in about 2 minutes. John, your thoughts on Cora's move there, and what's your reactions?
Yeah, I really don't get it. I mean, we saw it yesterday in the Ron Suarez start.
Ranger.
He's at 71 pitches in I think it was the 6th inning, and Cora pulls him with 2 guys on base and 2 outs. Granted, the Sox got out of the inning yesterday with no trouble, but the guys that you should trust on this team, you're not giving them the opportunities to succeed when facing adversity. Again, 100%, I would have been fine with, going to Whitlock, even if it was just for that 1 out. And then you put in Weiser or whoever you want, Ryan Watson, whatever, in the 7th and 8th inning. Even Colomb, I feel like probably could have stayed in the game to get that 3rd out. And at least, if runs are going to be scored in that 7th inning, let it be on him. I mean, how many times has Greg Weissert come into a Red Sox game with runners on base and those guys didn't score? I mean, literally every single time this guy inherits runners, the guys that are on base jog around 3rd, go and score, back to the dugout, and the Red Sox are losing. It's every single time. If anybody watching could go find me the last time that he didn't give up a run that he inherited, please show me. It had to have been during that 30, whatever that streak was last year. And then obviously when games mattered again, he starts shitting the bed. I mean, the guy stinks. I don't know what the hell black magic he has over Alex Cora or Greg Breslow or the ownership that he keeps on being put into these opportunities. Or maybe it's just them publicly shaming him because they know he stinks too. I don't know what the answer is, but he stinks. He should never be in the game with runners on base when the opponent could get ahead of you. It's just ridiculous.
I think it sells more about what's behind him. That's the problem. He's garbage, but the dumpster fire is the rest of the bullpen.
Yeah, it's just getting ridiculous with Weiser. I don't even know how he's still, got a job on this team. I mean, you can't have anybody better than him. I could understand if you're behind, you want to kind of, bring a guy in to just be a mop-up guy. But I mean, at this point, it's just getting stupid. So, all right, it's time for probables. Let's go ahead and see what we got on the docket. So Friday, which is tomorrow, the Red Sox will be in Baltimore, and we have a 7:05 start. It's supposed to be Brian Bayo against Dean Kramer. Saturday is a 4:05 p.m. start. Garrett Crochet will be against Trevor Rogers. And then on Sunday, it's going to be Connolly Early against Kyle Bradish. Nick, I'll start with you. What is your predictions for this 3-game set?
I think Baltimore will take 2 of 3. I'm at that point right now where I think you got to at least give 1 game to the Red Sox. I just don't know exactly which game it's going to be because this is a guessing game right now. It's a matter of maybe you hit lightning in a bottle and somebody learns how to hit and execute. That could happen. We've seen crazier things in life. But the other thing here that you have to think about is that you also have Brian Bayo and Garrett Crochet going. 2 guys that have thrown clunkers in their past couple starts. Is this one of the starts, and I look at Brian Bayo first, which is he's throwing tomorrow night. Let's say he throws another clunker here, guys. What do? Do you keep it going? What do you do? Like, I know, John, you said options. Does he go back to Worcester? Does some sort of message get into him that says what you're doing here is unacceptable? What is this? His 5th season in the big leagues?
Yeah, 40. What do you come up in? 22?
22.
22 or
So
20?
4?
It was, yeah, 4th year.
So what would you do? I mean, do you keep riding this out? Oh, he has a lot of potential. He's going to be good. Don't worry. Pedro's working with him. He's got a lot of promise here, guys. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I really am. 2022 he came up. 2022 he threw 13 games. 2023 28, 30 and 29 starts in the past 3 seasons. So I'll give him 4 seasons basically. And he's at age, what are we at? We're at age 26 right now. He's going to be 27 on May 17th. So you're not a little kid anymore, dude. You're not. It's time to nut up or get out.
So your Red Sox win 1 out of 3, Nick?
I'm going to go with 1 out of 3. I also think that Crochet is going to have another struggle start. I just do. I don't see any help with this until we address coaching staff, mechanics. We need a fresh face. We need a fresh face here. And I don't think we see that change with Crochet. You know what I worry about with Crochet the most? And I know it's a little bit more of an extreme example because back in 2005, we had Matt Clement and he got nailed in the face with a ball. But I worry that something to that effect is going on with Crochet and we're never going to see what we saw again last season again. I'm worried a little bit because I don't have faith in the organization to get him back on track. That's where I'm at with that one.
Fair,
They're leaderless.
Fair, your predictions for the Baltimore series in Baltimore.
I'm going to say they win one of the 3, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be the Friday start or the Sunday start. From the pitching standpoint, I trust early, but looking at what the Orioles are going to be throwing at us, Kramer doesn't throw hard, but he's a guy that we can never seem to hit, but maybe we'll do something. I don't think we're going to win the Crochet start simply because no matter how well Crochet pitches, Trevor Rogers is, his superpower is he's left-handed. And that automatically means, Durbin and Montecchio and Kiner Falefa. So you basically have 3, you're playing 6 against 9 in that situation. So Andy throws hard, which automatically puts the way he's playing Story, in that offer category. So I think maybe they take tomorrow's game simply because I think they can hit Kramer, or let me rephrase that. I think they can make better contact against Kramer than they can against Bradish on Sunday.
Well, it's interesting because Kramer is scheduled, but they also mentioned he's on the 15-day IL, so I don't know if he's getting activated tomorrow. So I don't know if that's going to play a role in that.
Oh,
John,
joy,
your thoughts?
the Red Sox best gift.
Mm-hmm. John, your projections and predictions.
Yeah, I'm seeing here on MLB.com they got Brandon Young scheduled now for tomorrow.
Okay.
So he's 1-0 with he has 2 strikeouts. So I assume it's probably an opener for the Orioles tomorrow.
Okay.
But
then we're done because we're gonna mix and match and we're gonna have everybody out by the 3rd inning.
I was just reading the probables from ESPN, so maybe they're not accurate enough.
Yeah, I mean it could have been updated a couple minutes ago. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if the offense is going to score 3 runs in their next 3 games again, they're not going to win a single game. But one thing that I really liked about Crochet's last start, even though the wheels completely fell off the bus, his fastball went up about 10% from his season average. So hopefully he's kind of just going to revert back to that, version of himself that he was last year as a thrower instead of a pitcher. And, granted, they're facing Rogers, who I think he pitched against the Red Sox. He pitched in Fenway last year against the Red Sox, and I believe he went 7 shut. So, Crochet is going to have to be, a complete 360 from what he's been to win that game. Bayo tomorrow, I think, if the Orioles have an opener, I know their bullpen's not great. You should be able to score enough runs to win. So I'll give him tomorrow. What is that? Saturday. I'm gonna say loss, and hopefully I'm wrong on that. And then Sunday with Connolly early, versus Kyle Bradish. Again, it's a tough one because Bradish is, when he's good, he's a really good pitcher, and when he's bad, he's not a good pitcher. So I'm gonna go 2 out of 3. I'm gonna say they win tomorrow and win on Sunday. But again, Nick's already laughing at me. I just want to be positive, and I just really hope these guys back me up.
I know a guy.
What's so interesting about that project? It's so interesting about that prediction is that when would you have thought that you would have chosen 2 out of 3 for them to win, and it's not the Crochet start?
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, that one's for me at least. That's more so just because
that's the world we're
on the other side of the mound.
Yeah, that's just the world we're living in right now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm going 1 out of 3. I think they can take one game here. I don't know which one it's going to be. It's either going to be the early or the Crochet game. If Crochet has a good game and people are going to be all geeked up thinking he's fixed, I expect it to last maybe one day, and then the next one probably may not be as good, but maybe all of a sudden have a turnaround game. I don't know, but it's either going to be that game or the early game. I have no faith in the Bayo game, regardless of who the starter is. I just don't. So we'll see how that goes. It's time for a little change in segment, but I'm going to start it off with today's Dugout Dipshits.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Dugout Dipshits.
So today's Dugout Dipshits is any Red Sox Twitter fans that really think this team is going to make the playoffs. That's what I'm calling it. and this is the reason why, because it's math time.
They need shock therapy, all of them.
Yeah. So for all the mathletes out there, I want to go over
John
a few
included
things
in this.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
here's the bottom line. Red Sox at 9-16 coming into tomorrow's game, right? So a typical wild card is going to need about 88 wins, something like that. They had 89 last year. Red Sox have 137 games remaining. They have to go 80-57 the rest of the way. That's a .584 winning percentage. Now, keep in mind that their current winning percentage is .360, and they're going to need .584. So you're asking this team to do a complete turnaround, and that's a massive jump, not a tweak. Teams that have started out 9-16 typically will win around 75 to 80 games, and their playoff odds typically fall in the 5 to 15% range. So what are their real chances? Probably 10%. And that's assuming that the pitching stabilizes, the offense stops disappearing every night, there's no major injuries, and management doesn't wave the white flag by July and sell at the deadline. So keep that in mind, Red Sox fans, when you think that, there's still a chance. There's still a chance that, Santa Claus comes in July as well. Time for some comments. We will see what we got here from our listeners. Hanno's a regular on X. He says all they care about is lowering contacts or contracts before the CBA. I think you're right on that. Mr. Hamilton says hi to us. How you doing? Betty says, made it. YouTube forgot to notice you again. She loved Tolley and liked Durant's play and Maris hit. The rest, she's had it with them. I think we're all in agreement there, Betty. Austin says hi. Mathematically eliminate a worst lineup in the last 55 years. I think that's pretty close. I don't know a worse lineup. Austin asks, how are you? And Math says the lockout can't get here fast enough. Betty says a sweep was inevitable. And Michael says they will be lucky to be a 500 team this year. I think that's really like, and even if they are, like, you can't pat yourself on the back for that. You guys should play his and seek. I don't know what the hell that means, but I agree with the at least. Are you cranky? We're cranky about the Red Sox not being a good team.
Yes, I am cranky.
Janice asked, Nick, are you cranky? Nick can be cranky, especially like, I don't know.
This person needs a dodgeball in their face is what they need.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll show who's boss. O'Doyle rules.
Toka says, guys sleeping in the bottom right. That's there. He's tired. He's got 3 kids, and that should tire you out right then and there.
And you watch the Red Sox.
A lot of judging on these comments here tonight, folks. A lot of judgment.
Justina says, I liked and subscribed. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Betty, I've given up and waiting to have the first pick in the draft. That's probably what they should shoot for. Finish last so we can get the first pick.
They'll blow it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, they blew it on Mara. They blew it on who's the other first pick that was a waste too? It was a pitcher a few years ago.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but they're going to take a left-handed hitting outfielder.
Well, we're left-handed starter. It seems like that's all we got these days. Are you guys having a good day? We're having a great day. Michael says it's a boring team. Certainly is. Betty, again, will your slump is affecting his head, making terrible plays, especially in the outfield? Yeah, we talked about that bonehead play. He's really come down. He's lost 120 points on his batting average since his start, but he did the same thing last year. He starts off very strong, and then he fades. And, it's probably going to be a situation where they're going to find an injury again.
It's his, I think as far as Willier goes, it's his bat.
Yeah.
Like or not just his bat, but if look at his swing from opening day and then look at his swing from, his past 30 at bats, it's gotten long again. And I think that's really the extent to it. His swing's longer. He's trying to pull the ball for power again. And again, whenever he's slumping, that's kind of what it looks like. He's swinging for the moon on every swing he takes. And, when he gets like that, he turns into a very poor hitter, and then he just can only rely on his defense. So until he fixes that, I think the poor at-bats are going to continue.
That
Michael
left-handed pitching guy, by the way, was Jay Groom, guys.
Well, there was Jay Groom, but there was another one too. There was another guy they took first round.
Tyson Witherspoon?
No,
He
this
just
is like 10 years ago.
Henry Owens. Henry Owens.
No. It was after Owens. It was after Owens.
It was after Owens?
Yeah, he was
a list here.
He was their first round pick. Check about 8 or 10
Nick
years
Hagedorn?
ago. No, wasn't him. I'll know it the second you say it. If anybody knows quickly, put it in the comments below as we go through. Michael says a waste. No. A waste of Tolley. I don't know if you mean a waste like his waist is pretty wasted. I don't know. It's he needs to work on it. Yeah. Can you guys say hi if you see what I'm saying? How you doing, Jasnisa? Our own Red Sox Digest said hi. I don't know which one you guys are playing with that. Betty says Tolley showed his soul, bases loaded, no outs, and scoring showed me a lot. One of the things that I was worried about in that inning, and I wrote it in our chat, I said, I was getting a little concerned that we're seeing that Tolley from last year where he started to fade a little bit. I don't know. Is he going to be a starter long-term, or is he destined for like a closer's role? I just don't know. I'm kind of like not sure about that. Janisa says, John, can you say hi? Say hi, John.
Hey.
Jim, can you say hi? Hello. Betty says, Red Sox Digest, she loves our pod. I appreciate it. Red Sox Critic, how you doing? Long time no see. Cam Schlitter wasn't good tonight. I mean, he was okay, but it wasn't his best.
Gave up 2 runs in 8 innings. Pretty good.
Good to see Anthony.
Just his swing and miss wasn't there, which if I had a bet on it, I would have said that he was going to punch out 10 batters tonight.
Yeah. Well, he was really dominant in the playoffs game last year. So Betty says Breslow commented baseball suicide, giving Raffy away. Yeah, he did. You know, I mean, here's the thing. You actually got good players in that trade, right? You wound up getting, Tibbs. You got Harrison. So you kind of made out you made the right move in a way, but then you go and trade those guys afterwards. It's like I don't know. I just don't understand it with them. Anthony says, guys, we are kind of letting the players completely off the hook. I mean, we shouldn't expect more from Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, Trevor Story, Crochet, and so forth. We should expect more. I mean, it's ridiculous. These guys, these 4 or 5 guys, we want to include Kyle Teal and Braden Montgomery, but this core of young players in the minors, Casas too, were shoved down our throats for a period of about 5 years. And now all these guys are here and they're not performing. And it hasn't gotten any better. And my concern, which no one's even talking about right now, is outside of Franklin Arias, there is nothing in the minor leagues. Zero. There's no next wave. There's nobody coming to save this season or the following season. So if they go belly up on all these guys that you mentioned down below, and they're really going to be in trouble. Caleb Durbin is a scapegoat for ownership. Caleb Durbin shouldn't be here. Caleb Durbin is not a major league player. That's how I feel.
D3.
Betty, again, run prevention, verbal garbage because Breslow didn't do his promise for the fans. No, he needed a right-handed power bat to go along with Bregman and a number 2 starter, and he did nothing. Jules says expect nothing. We don't. I don't think so. Jules says, lay off Mayer until he plays every day at short. Well, here's the thing. If you didn't want to trade Marcelo Mayer for a guy like Marte.
Cattell. Yeah.
Okay. If you didn't want to do that trade because Breslow said to himself, this is our guy, then why not just make him the shortstop and move Story to second? I mean, when Story walked in Cora's office and said he was opting in, Cora should have said right then and there, great, you're playing second base. If it's his natural position, put him there. And then also give him a chance to bat against left-handed pitching. If you are keeping him here to be a platoon guy, you should have traded him. Michael says unfair to Anthony. Betty, again, Roman needs a mentor or he'll be ruined.
He had one.
I totally agree. He had Bregman. Now he's out partying at
Loco
clubs, right? Anthony says no excuses. This guy needs to be in the majors for the rest of his career. I'm sick of this nonsense. I think he's referring to Tolley, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Absolutely 100%. Let's see. Moving along. I've suffered since 19. Go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't it crazy that with Roman's bad back, this was all acting up after his Monday shenanigans at the Loco? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I wrote about that, Nick, and I got railroaded from the fans. It's like, oh,
I think somebody's
yeah.
a little too much because there's no leader in this clubhouse.
That's it.
There is none.
Football,
so
you get a
having
curfew.
The time of his life with lots of ladies.
Football, you get a curfew. And these fans on Twitter like, don't you know that players go out the night before a game and have fun? Yeah, but they're not the face of the franchise usually. That's been bestowed upon a 21-year-old because there's no one else here who has a $150 million contract. I mean, it's just not right.
I'm fine with the guys going out after games, but we saw the video that we saw. It was just Roman there. If we saw 12 guys on the roster all out there drinking, then whatever. I'd actually encourage that to happen. At least they're all doing something together. Maybe something happens and it's a joke in the clubhouse that loosens everybody up. But yeah, just Roman being out there,
Well, he's trying to get back at Marcelo Mayer because he's got himself a goddess right now. So I think that he's playing himself into the game, if you want my honesty.
Red Sox diehard says this team sucks. They suck and blow. Sell the team.
Careful. We were just talking about something there. That's not good, Jim. There's kids watching.
Yeah, exactly. I hate these effing owners now. Yep. Sell the team. He wrote again. It's pathetic to watch, dude. It is. Absolutely. It's boring. Anybody is better than Durbin. I think a cardboard cutout might do just the same, but just try to make it bigger than 5'6". Do you know he's 5'6", and for all the shit that we do give him for his height, Jose Altuve is 5'6". What a difference, though, in players, right? Unbelievable.
That's what I am. You making fun of me too?
No, I'm not. But you don't
Thanks.
play professional baseball and make millions of dollars.
I could.
Well, go for it.
True.
Let's see. Anthony Ronaldo, LSU, my alma mater. Yeah, it wasn't him. I'm not
It's
sure.
Trey Ball.
Trey Ball. Thank you. I knew as soon as you said it, that was the guy.
What do I win? Nothing.
You win a case of rice Cerrone, the San Francisco treat.
Season tickets, Nick.
And you also win a
zero
because I unsubscribed to the bastards.
You also win a copy of the Red Sox Digest home game.
Oh, great.
Anthony says to that place,
Donkeys.
Lockout's pretty cool, but also the Lincoln across the street. I'm not quite sure what he meant there, but Jules said he wanted Cattell bad. I think we all did. You would have had a professional second baseman that could hit you 20 home runs and put him in the middle of the lineup, bat him second, something like that. It would have been great. But
Can you imagine if it was Roman, Cattell, Contreras, Abreu?
Yeah, anything like that. if you had Bregman still, or if you had Cattell and you got Pete Alonso, you would have had a first 4 or 5 would have been a pretty decent first 4 or 5. And that's
teams would have to game plan to pitch against you.
Yeah. Last thing that we got, Red Sox diehard, no excuse for not replacing Devers' bat. Absolutely. That's going to do it for comments. Any closing thoughts? Nick, I'll start with you. 30 seconds.
I think Pete Alonso is going to erupt in this 3-game series and remind us all of how piss poor our ownership is, and remind us that Craig Breslow is our GM. I think the star of the weekend will be Pete Alonso, and he's going to shove it.
Fair, 30 seconds. Final thoughts.
Strangely, a positive one. I am impressed with Duran's ability to come back, put some good at-bats together, and maybe become something of use, as opposed to the sort of the atrocious approach that he was taking earlier in the year.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a complete change in his makeup at the plate. His hands, doing the toe tapping again and not the leg kick. So he's definitely worked on that, and it's showing. So we'll see how that goes. John, last
Fatsy for it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's the one. Where was he the first 30 games? John, your final thoughts for tonight.
The day that the Red Sox stop thinking that Marcelo Meyer is going to explode on the field and they put him at shortstop, that's when I think that, this team's actually going to start moving a little bit. Maybe they'll start playing 500 ball. But I think Meyer's got to play every day. Anthony obviously has to play every day. They got to trade. I know you guys just talked like a positive note on Duran, but I don't care what it's for at this point. Just like you have 5 outfielders. It's been 2 years that they've had a surplus of outfielders. You got to move somebody at some point. And again, to shake up the clubhouse, to change just the attitude that's walking into that clubhouse every day, you've got to change something. And, if it's moving a player that, that half the fan base hates and half the fan base loves, at least you're going to have a 50% approval rating on it. So, whether it's Duran or somebody else, even a break, like, I don't care who it is, but one of these outfielders that's not named Roman Anthony has to get off this team immediately. So, and, just waiting for somebody to break an arm or trip going down, walking down into the dugout and land on the 15-day IL. Not going to happen. So
you almost had it tonight with the Durbin Durant collision there.
But yeah, somebody's they got to just get rid of one of these guys. These guys have to play every day that are on, that are meant to, or else we're just going to keep seeing this inconsistent nonsense.
And don't forget, too, you still have Christian Campbell looming in the minor leagues as a
He's killing it this month.
an
I think
outfielder.
he's hitting close to 300, and he's pulling the ball. So
Well, if that's the case, they should bring him up and just throw him in a position and see what the hell happens, because this is getting stupid.
Yeah.
Last but not least, if you haven't subscribed to our digital newsletter at RedSoxDigest.com, please go ahead and do so. It's a free subscription. We also do take donations. So if you want to go ahead and feed us some of that cold hard cash that you've been saving up and keeping for a rainy day, please go ahead and donate as much as you can, as often as you can. Additionally, we do write articles each and every day. I'm the only one that does because I can't get any help. But I'm the one that does that. So after each game, I go ahead. We don't need a Durant comment, Nick. So we go ahead and send that out as part of your subscription. You get my rants every day based on the game before, and I'm sure tomorrow will be just as smelly as most of them are. Thair's also been working on the 1986 season when he can. So when those are posted, kind of give you a kind of preview and a recap of the Red Sox from the 1986 season. So we'll see how that goes. And then hopefully next year we might do the 2007 season, keeping in line with all of that. And then maybe we'll do the 1988 season, and then who knows? That's about it. Last but not least, if you also go to the website, you'll see the rules about how to get involved with our sweepstakes, Star of the Game sweepstakes. Anytime we are live that night, I will post this graphic earlier in the day, and all you have to do is comment who you think the star of the game will be for that night, and you will win. At the end of the season, we'll tally up all the wins that you got, and you will win a $100 MLB shop gift card courtesy of Red Sox Digest. John, who was your star of the game tonight?
Just give it to Schlitter. He deserves it. He was really nervous about getting the shit beat out of him in the bullpen before warming up. He's dealt with a lot of adversity this week of people saying rude things to him online. So, he pitched a hell of a game. Tip the cap to him. We all knew he was going to shove it up our ass, and he did. So, star of the game, Cam Schlitter.
Cam Schlittler is your star of the game tonight. He got the win. He's now 3-1 on the season, and you're not. That's going to wrap it up for tonight. I'd like to thank Nick, Thair, and John for being on, and I'd like to thank everybody that actually had a comment. Please go ahead and subscribe online. Be with us on our next show. Comment, so we can post what you have to say live during our telecast. We will probably see you Sunday night. Keep an eye out for our tweets on Showtime starts. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you in Baltimore this weekend.